Hey everyone, welcome to Force Conversation, the show where two scruffy-looking nerf herders love to get together and talk about all things Star Wars. My name's Jay.
And I'm Colin.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so you have got a new purchase, Jay.
Yeah. So, I got this new book here, which...
The Star Wars Galactic
Atlas. Yeah, which is really nice. Just to give you a little look, the pages are nice. So, inside you have the galaxy map there. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, the old outer rim. Show me your outer rim again.
I'm showing you my inner and outer rim there. And it's got like all the pages kind of look like it's all illustrated. Can you see that? It's Mortis and the brother and sister.
So like built into the map is illustration.
Well, yeah. So for example, this one's Kashyyyk.
It's very Lord of the Rings.
So have a look at that. That's Kashyyyk, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see. See all the little people and bits of writing.
Yeah.
So what it does is it tells you about the planet and events from the Star Wars saga that have taken place on these planets, right? So it's a nice book. It's a lovely book. And the way that it's done on the introduction at the beginning, the introduction is written by someone called Amel Fortune, director Graph Archive. And the Graph Archive covers the majority of the Moon, Orcus 2. Its endless shelves, galleries and databanks contain text, artworks, antiques, and even preserved plants and animals from every part of the galaxy. So it's as if you're reading this ancient book from this place where they've documented everything that took place. And this book is meant to be set after all of Star Wars, and these are documenting the events that happened in the Star Wars.
Even episode 7, the last trilogy.
This is what I'm going to get to. So, and it's supposedly been written put together by an Ithorian artist called Gamit Chond, right? He's who put this whole thing together. So this is the thing, because they make a point of saying that he never left, this artist, this Ithorian, never left his home, right? And just put this together from the accounts of travelers and pilots and explorers, right? So it does cover everything. You know, you've got Hoth here, you've got Dagobah, you've got all kinds of stuff. Jakku, all the things that happen in Jakku, and it obviously takes things from Lost Stars. It takes them from the books like Lost Stars. It's got things from...
Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
Why does everyone go back to Jakku? However, because the movies aren't finished, that's a nice little cover our backs. It's not completely accurate, he says, right, in the introduction. And on the front here, there's a sticker stuck on the front, and it says, includes a map from Rogue One.
Does it?
It does include a map from Rogue One, just one, right? And this is where my problem with it is. I think it's a good book, and it's certainly worth any Star Wars fan having. And
how much was it?
You'd enjoy it. It's $13.95. Yeah, it's a lovely book. It's really well put together, and everything in it's nice. It's canon, you know. It all is approved by the story group. But because everything isn't finished, and they obviously started doing this before Rogue One, all that stuff ain't in there. So when you look at the galaxy map, which if you've got the Rogue One Ultimate Visual Guide, which you have, right, you'll see places like Scarif and places like that. They're not in here. They're not on this map.
Rubbish.
So when I'm looking at, so we know that Scarif is near to Tatooine and all that, right? Over
this
side? No, not on this one, right? Edu, where's Edu? Oh, no, Edu's not there. Oh, Jeddah's there. That's the map. You get Jeddah.
Oh, nice. You get Jeddah.
Yeah, you get Jeddah, which is on page 40. So let's have a look.
It's weird that they've got one and haven't got the others. Yep. Why is that?
And look at this. So this is Jeddah. So you can see the picture of Saw.
Oh, so they've got
there.
Jeddah.
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
Jeddah. Saw Gerrera's there. You've got New Jeddah, the city. And
that is cool.
You've got, some stormtroopers on there. You've got Chirrut Imwe, Baze Malbus. So it's got, tales of all these people. Just has a little bit of writing. So, Chirrut, for example, Chirrut, a blind monk warrior, and disciplined, not disciplined, they spell it wrong. and the Siphon Fighter. Chirrut is attuned to
Well, he's
the
blind.
energy of the Force. Yeah, maybe he wrote that himself. Or maybe Ithorians can't write in English properly. Basic.
Basic.
You know, Baze. Well-armed Baze is always ready, is always battle-ready. He and Chirrut are inseparable friends. That's it. That's
like me and you, Jay.
Totally, man. Totally. So it's nice. It's beautifully illustrated. Like, the art is... It's got a lot of detail in there, and it's a nice book to look at, and you'll sit there and look at the maps for ages and, you know, read through it and all that kind of stuff. It's just a shame that it's come out, and it hasn't got all the stuff from Rogue One in it, at least. And to be honest, something like this, they should have probably held on until after Episode 9 and just put it out then. Because
I must admit, there's a lot of books that I've been buying, because I got a big load over Christmas, and also I bought stuff after Force Awakens, and already you know that there's going to be an updated version, have to be an updated version. Right. Most of the books I've bought every year, pardon me, and so, to be honest, I'd rather just them be done in volumes, like, here's Galactic era, the Empire era, here's the Clone Wars era, here's part one of the First Order era, you know, rather than have to, you know, so I don't have to keep rebuying the whole book or getting a completely new book. I want to get one that you just have volumes of as the films come out and they add to it.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? The thing is, when I bought this with the name, the Galactic Atlas, it's kind of not what I wish it was. Like, firstly, I wish it was fatter. But at the same time, you know when you get an atlas in real life, right? Like if you have an atlas, it will tell you about the different places, it'll tell you a bit about the agriculture, it'll tell you about the creatures that live there, and it would be like a proper textbook, right? I would really like something like that. So it has the galactic map, and this is something they should probably do after Episode 9, or, you know...
the book I bought before Christmas is more of that, and it's downstairs, but it's the complete locations. I think I mentioned to you.
Yeah.
Now that is more what you're asking for, I think,
right.
But it has only gone up to Force Awakens.
Right, yeah, and I think you're right. They should see. I know the difficulty is that with these new movies coming out, and this is where we were talking about the canon before, they're going to keep creating planets, and in the books, like, you got some other planets that they create and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But yes, why not do like Galactic Empire era, and you have Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and you can do as many as you want. Like, you can just keep doing them. So anytime there's new planets, you say, okay, we'll wait until we've got like 15 new planets, which really isn't going to take long. And then you put out a new volume, and it's got all of the info about them. I don't need it to tell me about the characters. It's a nice way, you know what, with this, it's a nice way to document the story of Star Wars and the way it happened. It's done really well. I've got to say, it's done well. And it's a nice way for you to be able to read it, and you can fit together, because each planet tells you the timeline of what happened. Oh, this happened here during this time. So it's nice for things like that. But for me, I would like something more like what you're saying there, where you could just have all the planets, the types of creatures that are there, the kind of climates. You know, we always see a planet like, oh, this one's an ice planet, this one's a desert planet. But maybe what we'll discover is, no, it's not a full one of that planet, but it does have another bit to it. You know, like we did with Coruscant in Catalyst, we found out there was other parts to it.
I know we talk about it a lot, but that Rogue One complete visual book,
brilliant.
whatever it's called,
the visual, the ultimate visual guide.
Ultimate visual guide. It's what, to be honest, just release one book per film, which has all the things in it, like that book does.
Yeah,
because that book has got bits of everything in it.
Yeah, I love this book.
Cross sections. It's got all the character profiles. It's got, you get to look at all the props and all the details that the old visual dictionaries used to have. But it's also got information about the planets. And again, every film, it's going to have if they release on them for every film, then that will update with the things that you've missed, you know.
And this one has Tam Posler.
Yes.
Right.
And you know, Tam Posler, he sorts the world out.
But yeah, this is a really well put together book. I do like this one. But yeah, I think that that's something they need to to do. Pablo Hidalgo and his friends, right? They need to.
I
check
love
out
him,
this
by the
show.
way.
Pablo's cool.
He's my tweet buddy.
He often will reply to tweets. He's really good like that. Obviously sometimes there's something's gonna happen, and then everyone hammers him with the same question, and he's just like, whatever, man. But he's good at replying. But him and his buddies need to listen to what you just said and put out those volumes. Fans will buy that. I'll buy the shit out of it.
Jay, we'll waste it. I'll have a chat with Kathy.
Oh, you're going to have another chat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
but I've also had obviously I had a tweet yesterday with Pablo where he told me that Chewbacca doesn't have a
Yeah, I saw that. Right, anyway, let's get on with the show because we've got a few more things to cover, and now you're going to do some reviews, right?
I'm going to do some talking. I'm going to do some heavy lifting here.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing these because, as you know, I stopped buying the comics, so you are kind of my. You let me know what you like.
Well, so this is Comic Corner. We're going to have a catch up on Comic Corner with Noodle.
He needs an Ewok outfit.
Annoying thing. So, I've been trying to catch up on some of the Star Wars comics. I have been rubbish recently. I'm a big, massive comic fan. Generally, I've been so behind recently. I've been trying to catch up, but time is not my friend. So, I tried to prioritise catching up on all the titles that I had in my pile for Star Wars. I failed to read the 2 Han Solo books that I had, so I'm not going to talk about those. I haven't read them, even though I also saw that the trades come out for that as well this month.
That has all of the Han Solo?
Yeah, I think it was a 5-issue miniseries, and I've seen that a trade was listed when I was looking at what comics have come out this week.
4 to 5. So,
well,
not worth me buying the trade.
No. So the trade's out. So look for that. So let me grab my little reviewers. So I'm going to start off talking about Dr. Aphra.
Dr. Aphra.
Now, Aphra, Afro, Dr. Whatever we want to call her. Dr. A Doc. She, so on a previous episode of Force Conversations, I have talked about episode 1. I didn't give it Issue 1. I didn't give it a glowing review. I sort of said it was okay. But I've reread issue 1 because I couldn't remember what happened when I went to read issue 2. And I actually enjoyed it a lot more. So I think I probably was a bit tired or something when I read it. I probably read it on the train at like 6 o'clock in the morning or something. So I've read both those issues. So they're both written by Kieron Gillen. As I said on the previous review, the whole concept of Dr. Aphra, in case you don't know, is she was a character that was introduced in the Darth Vader series, and she's got 2 little droid sidekicks who are psycho killers. One's called 000, looks like a 3PO that's black in colour, and there's also an astromech droid called BT, and again a black version of R2.
Because the Empire like them all in black.
They do, shiny and black, like Vader's fist. I don't know where that came from. That's got nothing to do with this review. So anyway, basically, so I'll give an overview of the whole story. So basically, on issue 1, Dr. Aphra, at the end of Vader storyline. See, this is a bit of a spoiler, really. I don't know if I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to tell you what happened at the end of Vader's storyline.
Okay.
But she's presumed dead. I'll tell you that. So she's presumed dead. So she's basically carrying on with her new life, basically trying to get on with things. Going back to her roots. So basically, she's a bit of an she's a doctor because she's an archaeologist. And a bit Indiana Jonesy, that kind of things, in terms of that side of things, even though she's got no morals at all. We've already established that from her working for Vader.
So she is a baddie, right, Dr. Aphra? She's a baddie.
She's not a baddie. She's just got no moral compass, really. She's just out for herself. She's not on anyone's side at all. She's a bit more of a mercenary kind of thing. So she's I mean, she's not all out bad, but she's definitely not. She doesn't care about doing anything good. She doesn't go out of her way. So Kieron Gillen is a brilliant writer. Vader was brilliant. It was the best out of all the Star Wars comics so far in the new canon. And the art, again, for both the issues is done by Kev Walker, who's 2000 AD Lumini, and does various stuff. He's done loads of things in America as well. So, good artist. Different than what we were used to from the Vader book. The Vader book was predominantly drawn by Salvador Larroca, and he had a very realistic, good-looking, sharp. I mean, he did the most fantastic Vader style.
He did a good Vader, yeah.
Yeah, Kev's a little bit more cartoony, but that's not in a bad way. Mm-hmm. Issue 1 also, I didn't mention, I also had a backstory, a second story, which gave a bit more detail on Aphra.
Okay.
And when she was training and how she got her doctorate, or did she, that kind of thing. So, and that is actually drawn by Salvador at the end, that last story. So,
it's like a little short story stuck onto the end.
Yeah, stuck at the end on the first one.
Like
no, second one was just one story. So, so there was a big. So, but basically, the rough story was she was in the first issue she was looking for this archaeological artifact. She finds it, tries to sell it. You see you see a couple of those hairy creatures from Rogue One. I can't remember what they're called, the big white things.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also she's got the bounty hunter Wookiee hanging around with her as well. She owes him money, so he's in a little gang.
Was with Boba Fett, the black one.
His name is Crash Punch. I've got absolutely no idea how to pronounce it, but it's spelled K-R-R. Pardon?
You have to do it in a Wookiee voice to get it right.
Well, yeah. It's spelled K-R-R-S-A-N-T-S-N.
Croissant.
Yeah, okay. Well, however that's pronounced.
Croissant.
I think he is the classic bounty hunter one that we've seen in previous stuff.
The one that was with Boba Fett at the beginning when Vader sent them off to find Luke.
Yeah, that's the one. So, so he's hanging out with her and protecting her because obviously she owes him money. That's a bit convenient, but yeah. Mm-hmm. So he has a fight with those white things, which is quite cool. And then at the end of the issue, the cliffhanger is that she meets somebody from her past. And then the second issue, so generally the first issue was better than I thought it was. Again, a lot of setup, but that's the nature of it. It tells you a bit who she is, but it was quite a fun episode. Second issue seemed really, really quick, but again was carried on the story. There's you find out a bit more again about her doctorate and what's happening there. It doesn't seem like loads happens. There's a bit of storytelling between her and the person that she meets at the end of the first issue, and you get to see the same story in two different perceptions, which is quite cool. One very much sort of dark side looking, one more light side looking. So that was quite good. And again, Kieron seems to be really good at the cliffhangers because the ending was really cool where they ended up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how was this second episode overall? What would you?
Yeah, it was good. I'd give it 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
It was a good solid issue. Again, just went a bit quick, and I think this is going to be one that's like most of the Star Wars comics. I think, particularly the miniseries. I think that you're going to be better off reading them in a collected version.
Is this one a miniseries?
I don't know. It's not very clear, but I can't imagine it's going to be an ongoing.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be surprised if it's an ongoing.
I think she's quite a cool-looking character. I hope that they do a 6-inch black series of her so I can have it in my collection.
She's a cool character, and like I say, Kieron Gillen, I love his writing. Kev Walker's a solid artist, so there's nothing wrong there. I mean, I do wish it was still Salvador because I really liked how he.
That being said, I hope that I know like she was in the Vader comic before and she was working with Vader, and obviously I don't know what happened, where it's going now, but I hope that they do kind of make her turn out to either be a merc or to be a bit of a baddie, because get some more, because they only have the main girl characters, the goodies, and they don't really have that many baddie ones. So it's like, they're allowed to be baddies too.
I mean, they are keeping. Also you've got 000 and BT in the background, and they are as lethal as they have ever been, and she was a bit more lenient with somebody in one elements of the story, but BT 000 soon put an end to that kind of thing, it's definitely a darker look at some elements of Star Wars.
Cool. So
it's a good comic. Yeah, I think you'll like it. Next one I'm going to talk about is issue 25 of the main Star Wars title. Mm-hmm. Again, this is another one that's got a little backup story in it, but the main story is written again by Jason Aaron, who's been writing all 25 issues so far. And the artist is now George Molina. Now, I don't know if George is pronounced Molina. George, or is it Jorge? Yeah, it's Jorge, isn't it? Yeah. This is me not at all being very clear with how to pronounce names, but to me it says George, but it's not George. It's Jorge. But he's a brilliant artist. Love his art. Really good. Really good art. And most of this title was done by the guy that I really like, Stuart Amon.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he's got a similar style, very similar style to him.
Getting to issue 25 so far, the main Star Wars title.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, obviously you must like it to a point because you're still buying it, but you really like this one? You think it's the one? It's a good title? It's
really solid.
Good Star Wars.
Yeah, it's good Star Wars. Again, it's still a little bit... I'm finding it a bit strange, this version of Hanley. I sort of mentioned it last week. I feel that post the new canon, it's a slightly different version. It's like a new 52 version of the characters I've known and loved. Mm. So they are slightly different than how I've always interpreted them, but it's good. Huh?
Different?
Not worse. Not worse. I mean, different's different. And when you're an old git like me, change is difficult.
What you know.
Yeah. But I mean, they'll introduce. I mean, again, I think the danger is too much information and telling us too much. Mm. For instance, like one of the characters that's in this issue was introduced a little while back, and she was introduced as potentially Han Solo's wife. That's what she was calling herself at the time.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And it was just like, I don't want this. I don't want to know about somebody that thinks, or I don't want to know about one of Han Solo's other loves if she was, or I don't need this character in it. I mean, it's Dr. Alpha's worked as a new character and being brought into it, but this person definitely didn't. It hasn't brought anything new to it.
Didn't work then and doesn't work now.
No, okay. No. So, but having said that, generally, I just find this whole era they're talking in is difficult for them to be in. I don't want to see it because it's such a small amount of time. Mm. And really important. Well, not really important, but if they do anything major in it, it will make... Well, they can't do anything major in it because nothing major happened in that section. We know that.
It's a little bit pointless to cover.
Yeah. And particularly since it's following the main characters. If it was set in that era and it's not following the main characters, fine. Even though I still probably wouldn't be that bothered about it. But because it's following the main characters, there can't be any major character development... things that happen. Luke's not going to lose another arm, is he?
No, but he will fight Vader before he actually fights him.
Yeah, which is rubbish.
I know, right?
So anyway, on to issue 25.
Yeah, so I'm going on a little rant again.
No, I hear you though. I get where you're going with that.
So, but it's still fun issues. So in the previous couple of issues, a new... basically, this is about the third or second part in the story. And basically, the gang have been sent out to a planet called Turin 7.
Okay.
And basically, it's a planet where it needs protection. It's an ally planet of the rebels. And something's going on there. They've got a load of Star Destroyers hanging around. The gang have been sent out to help out. this Sana woman is still with them from a previous storyline. But the previous issue, we were introduced to this what's called Scar Squadron, and it's like an elite group of stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers, yeah. Now, okay, I have that issue, and all of a sudden you had like this heavy weapon stormtrooper who was built like
massive. He's like Hulkbuster Iron Man.
Now, yeah, he really was. Now, all the other ones, I think there was a female one. There was one that wore
there's one with a poncho,
like a cloak. Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with the poncho. Like they've chucked the poncho over their armor, whatever. But see now with the Death Troopers, I'm kind of like, okay, why haven't we seen those before? They explained it. Oh, well, no, they are with Imperial Intelligence. Well, we haven't
seen Imperial Intelligence,
right? But these guys, there's like Hulkbusters walking around the place and that now. And really?
None of them have got standard costume.
They don't have standard stormtrooper uniform.
And they all look cool, but they all look like different. They look like different Iron Mans to me. Yeah. They don't look like stormtroopers.
Yeah. Different Iron Man in white.
Yeah. Some with different colours. And like I say, the bloke with a poncho. It was just so.
Isn't that like the?
It reminds me of like 90s X-Men or something. That's what it was looking like.
This was the worry with the comics for me, that they would start doing that stuff. It's like, we've got to have some new cool versions of this. And it's
very superhero comics.
Yeah.
And also Sergeant Kree, who's the leader of the squadron, he has kept the lightsabers of Jedi's he's killed before, and he's using them, and he's fighting Luke with one in this issue.
So Luke has had a lightsaber duel with some stormtroopers, and stormtroopers who never hit the heroes. This dude's taken out Jedis.
Yeah. Well, again, to be honest, I might be a bit wrong that he took out the heroes, but he's definitely got a lightsaber, and it's not his. He's not a Jedi. So yeah. So they're having a little fight with a lightsaber. So look, it's alright. Again, it's a fluff story. I think this is the thing. They're just fluff stories. There's not much to it. It's not going to change my perception of how what's going to happen to him. The Vader comic that was alongside this one, written by Jason Aaron as well. No, it wasn't. That was written by Kieron Gillen, wasn't it? So Jason Aaron's just writing this one, isn't he? Yeah. So I think I'm trying to think what he's trying to do with it. It's a bit of a waste, I guess, because he's a brilliant writer, and he's I don't know.
Have they visited Old Mandelia or anything like that?
No,
because that's mentioned in Empire, and this is between and
Empire.
No.
Right? Yeah,
so, right. The thing with these comics is this is an ongoing series for one, so we're 25 issues in. So this is all like there's gonna be like a million issues, and all this stuff would have happened in this space.
Well, it is Marvel, so it probably will relaunch before it gets to too heavy a number.
That's what I'm saying. These comics should just be Legends, because they can do whatever the hell they want with it.
Yeah.
You can have all the Hulkbusters walking around, and you can invent new whatever you want. You can have flying Sarlaccs or whatever, I don't know. But it's going to make it ridiculous. The idea that Luke fought Vader already annoyed me. Luke having lightsaber duels with stormtroopers annoys me. I don't care for this, and I don't want it to be the canon. You know what I mean? And I have no say because it is the canon. But, you can choose what bits of canon you want to accept, and this I do not accept.
No, it's a bit naughty. So, the art was fantastic. There's nothing bad about the writing. It just no surprises really. Just told a story.
Right. Well, that's.
I give that one a 3. And then the last book I'm going to talk about is Poe Dameron's. I think it's an ongoing title. This is part 2 of a story called Gathering Storm.
This is issue 9.
Issue 9. Yeah, it's written by Charles Soule. He's a well-known Marvel writer, written quite loads of stuff. He wrote The Death of Wolverine recently, that kind of thing. And art by Phil Noto. Now, Phil Noto, fantastic artist, really great styles, really love what he does, really great likenesses, but with more of an artistic flair. So, very good. Now, this book I've been enjoying, but it's not because of Poe Dameron.
Oh.
It's because of the his nemesis in this. And I mentioned him before when I've talked about this book, Terex, who is basically a First Order Security Bureau investigator. And so throughout the story so far, he's been the person that Poe's come up against and has begun to, they've become enemies. I'll have a little cough. Now, this story in particular, the main story that Poe's on is all about 3PO and Poe have been sent out to find a spy droid. Okay?
Okay.
So they go off to a planet, which I didn't bother writing down the name of the planet. Oh, Kadak. I did write down Kadak.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kadak. So they're looking for a missing droid spy, and that story is okay. They're looking for a droid.
We've had that story before at some point.
Yeah. There's one interesting bit, and actually one nice point, which is slightly spoiled because it's so 3PO is going on about Poe talks to him about how C3PO calls everyone master, and then 3PO saying, he goes, you shouldn't be calling people master. You've been a fundamental part of, all the major events that have happened in the past, whatever, 40, 50 years, 60 years even.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about, and then C3PO goes on to talk about his friend Han Solo, which I was surprised when he used the word friend. I didn't think that was right.
Well, he does sort of think he's a friend, doesn't he? Because when he sees...
Yeah, but he calls everyone else master, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But anyway, and so he's going on about Solo, and he's talking about that Solo has borrowed money from the Gundian Death Gang, or whatever their names are.
Guavian Death Gang.
That's the one, Guavian Death Gang, in front of the Kanja Club gang who are sat behind him, and then you can see the Guavian Death Gang. And so actually, it turns out it's 3PO that set them on Han Solo and Force Awakens.
Excellent.
So that was quite a fun bit.
Do you see these guys?
You see those guys?
I like these guys. I think they're cool.
Yeah, they are cool. Again, completely one of those characters that looks really cool and does nothing.
There's a whole bunch of them. They just got splattered around, and that was it. They were cool. They shot Chewie.
Yeah, they did shoot Chewie. So that's the main story. The background story is on the same planet. Trex has gone there because I think I mentioned on my last review of one of the issues, we've been back having flashbacks on his story, and he was one of the stormtroopers on the Battle of Jakku. I think I mentioned this. And so the backstory is all about telling how he got from being one of these troopers on Jakku and how he got off Jakku and how he went to this planet and then what they did. And there's a really interesting story where they're talking about going to an Imperial warehouse where the factory where there's been fleets being made, and they're talking about trying to potentially, there's hints that they might be involved in helping to set up the First Order.
So he's an ex-Imperial who's now First Order.
Yeah.
The beginnings of First Order.
Yeah, and he's got and it's really interesting because he's really strict and straight when he's on the flashbacks with Jakku. He was like, a bit shocked that the other bloke was saying, "Oh, come on, let's just get out of here," kind of thing, and he wants to keep his armour on and all this stuff. And you can tell that the present day Terex is a bit more money-wise. The one thing I will say is he's got an air of him that really reminds me of the Imperial guy that's in the Aftermath books that's joined the rebellion. And when I envision the guy in the books, I think of this guy. So they've got similar sort of traits and snark, but it could just be a snarky Imperial. But there's similarities there. But yeah, so his story is really interesting and definitely the thing that's keeping me with the book.
Right.
I mean, the art's great and it's not, it's not bad. It's written okay. But it's his story that I'm more interested in rather than Poe's. But I mean, it's crossing over. It's not like they're separate stories, but definitely. And it seems like there's definitely a bit of a turning point for Terex in this issue. So, interesting.
Cool.
So I'll give that one a 4 anyway.
Oh, excellent. So yes, I've heard quite a few times that the Poe Dameron comic book's a really good one. So yeah, if it is an ongoing one, that's cool. But again,
I'd rather see it to be a mini-series, like 12 issues.
Yeah, maybe. Just do a strong story, end it, and then we know where he ends up.
Well, again, it can't go on too long, can it?
No, because we know where he ends up. So that's the problem. If they keep trying to make them go on, that's going to be annoying. Right, so anyway, I think that's it for this week.
It is, yeah. That's all we got today.
Awesome. So thank you for joining us. You can find us on all the social medias. Go on to underneath this video, click the thumbs up button and like this episode if you enjoyed it, which we hope you did. Or these 2 episodes, because this is going to be split in 2. And also subscribe to the channel. And also there's a little bell there. If you click on that bell, you'll get notifications of all the different stuff that we upload throughout the week.
Well, that's worth clicking.
Definitely worth clicking. You can also find us on the Facebook group, where we've had some great feedback about the group recently from a few of the members, which we'd like to thank them for. And it is a really good group. It is a conversation. Everyone's respectful to each other. It's because of the members of the group that everyone has a nice time there.
Yeah.
Everyone's opinion counts, whether or not you agree with it. There's no trolling on there. Everyone's
and
friendly.
If there was, we'd kick them out.
If there's trolling, you're gone. That's it. So everyone's friendly. There's a good bit of banter goes on. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's great. Come along and join in. Everyone's welcome. So you can find us there, and that's Forced Conversations on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Forced Convo, and you can find Colin himself
on Captain Colin,
and you can find me at the _letter J and _letter. Oh, that just went wrong.
Yeah.
At the _letter J _tank. I have to move my hand when I do that. I can't do it without it. I don't know what's going on there.
Well,
Where else can they find us?
Well, I was just going to say, on all of those social media platforms, don't forget to use the hashtag ForceConvo.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned the Twitter handle itself as ForceConvo, didn't we?
It's at ForceConvo,
yeah. And you can also listen to audio versions of this. If you like podcasts, you can go to SoundCloud and you can listen to our podcast there directly. You can also listen to an audio version of this on YouTube, and you can definitely, and I would really recommend this, join the Taylor network of podcast feed on iTunes and other places where you can get feeds, where we are just one of many other podcasts on that network, which we're proud to be part of. And some of the other podcasts include No Apologies, Nothing On, Nerd is Bond, JK's Happy Hour, Go Trek Yourself, Double Page Spread, Gotham by Geek, and that's enough for that. I'm not plugging any more of them, but they're all good, they're all funny, and they're all geeky. So we fit in really well.
You can also just find us on iTunes as well, right?
Oh yeah, we're on iTunes. So yeah, I mean basically we are everywhere. You just look for us.
To be everywhere.
We're either Forced. I actually did try Googling the other day just to see how easy it was to find it, and you do have to write Star Wars in as well, because otherwise you get some weird stuff when you look for Forced Conversations. Probably wasn't the best idea for a name. But
yeah. Well, if anyone has a better idea for a name, we've asked this before. Put it out there. However, when we did a little vote on the group, everyone wanted Forced Conversations, so we just kind of stayed with it. But if anyone comes up with something really awesome, we're always open to change. As much as we said we like what we know what we like, we don't like change. We might change if it's really, really good, because whatever.
We ain't changing the host, so you're stuck with us.
Yeah, you're stuck with us. That is one thing that is going to be consistent. You're stuck with our ugly mugs. Anyway, until next time.
May the Force... Oh, rubbish. Okay, you beat me. I was going to do your bit. May the Force be with you. Always.